went through each jungle deep for the paradise that we'd to see. 'Twas no trip for the weak, we're waltzing with the natives. Na 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 na.
Hello everybody, how are we all doing? Welcome back to the Celtic Corner. I hope we're good. As you can see, I'm on my own tonight. There's no Corey tonight. He's feeling a wee bit under the weather, so I hope he gets well soon, Corey. So I'll be doing this one on my own tonight, talking about and reviewing the Celtic versus Falkirk game on Saturday. So the game was a late kick-off on Saturday, 5:30. Celtic up against Falkirk at Parkhead. And I was a wee bit surprised at the lineup. I was a bit surprised that James Forrest started, to be honest. I know that he did come on and played really well against St Mirren, but you know, I wasn't expecting James Forrest to actually start the game. He's been a bit part player for Celtic this season. He's been, you know, very good when he's come on, when he's been called upon to come on to the park and create some opportunities for Celtic, score some goals. He's done that very well this season. So I was a wee bit surprised to see him in the starting lineup, and then especially to see that Yang was starting on the left. It was a wee bit different. I know that Yang has done that before, but, you know, I think Yang has been one of Celtic's best players this season from the right, so wee bit surprised, and I was thinking to myself, it's not really a good sign that we've got 5 games to go here and Martin O'Neill still doesn't really know his best 11, because, you know, that was a very surprising 11 in my opinion. I think we're starting to establish now that it's Trusty and Scales, it's the 2 centre-halves, it's Sinisalo, it's the goalie, Kieran Tierney at left-back, Alfred Ralston at right-back through injury at the moment. You know, Alistair Johnson came on in the match. You know, the three were McGregor, Engels and Nygren. And then, like I say, Yang, Maeda and Forrest. You know, I was expecting, you know, possibly Ian Atchell to start. For some reason, Ian Atchell's still not fit enough to start the game, so Maeda was through the middle. If it wasn't that, I was expecting Tinecti on the left, Maeda through the middle and Yang on the right, but he went with James Forrest, and to be honest with you, the first half was good in patches and stuff. I wasn't really impressed with Yang on the left. He was trying to cut inside far too much with his right foot, as you would expect. You know, like I say, he's not really used to playing that position. Didn't really think James Forrest made much of an impact on the right-hand side, unfortunately for him. I think he's more of a player now that's best to come off the bench, if I'm being honest. But Daizen Maeda was outstanding. But like I say, we were good in patches and stuff. Maeda was amazing. He was coming back. He was nicking the ball constantly, and that's what led to the first goal. Next, the ball off the boy in the middle of the park, and then the goalkeeper's at his goal when he slots it by him terrifically. Now, Maeda got man of the match last week against St Mirren in the semi-final. And I think that's maybe gave him a wee boost now, you know what I mean? Because he looked like a completely different player. He looked like the old, you know, player of the year last year, Daizen Maeda. He didn't look like this sluggish guy that was no performing well for Celtic this season. He looks as if he's maybe turned a corner at exactly the right time as Celtic need it. Because he created the second goal as well. He nicked the ball off the Falkirk player, plays it forward, and Kieran Tierney is a terrific strike into the bar and in, and you're thinking to yourself, right, this is the day. This is the day that Celtic are going to score a few goals and we're going to be comfortable and we're going to go into this match, we're going to score 4 or 5, and it just didn't turn out like that, as it often does with Celtic. But like I say, in patches were really good. I thought the midfield 3 were really good. McGregor, Nygren and Engels, they created opportunities, they get into space and that. But I've got to give Falkirk a lot of credit. I thought Falkirk passed the ball about really well. I thought Calvin Miller played really well. Brad Spencer had a terrific effort, just hit by the post. You know, and, you know, Falkirk caused problems with the ball into the box and stuff like that, but Celtic defended pretty resolutely. I think that Austin Trusty is really coming onto a game at Celtic as well. Whether that maintains, I still feel he's got an error in him. But I think he's starting to maybe settle down a wee bit now and be the Celtic player than be that £5.5 million player that we actually hope and wish that he would be. But time will tell. You know, it's took him a wee while now. But I thought, like I say, the midfield 3 were fine. I didn't think the wingers done particularly well. But Martin O'Neill decided to change it up a wee bit and put Yang on the right and put Forrest over on the left. And I thought Yang get involved in the game a wee bit more when that happened. And you know, like I say, Celtic went into the break 2-0 up, and you're like, right, this is comfortable. It's a good day now. All that matters is the 3 points. So Celtic, please come out now and score another one early, and then make this a really, really comfortable afternoon. But as I said earlier, Celtic don't do that kind of thing these days. It's always squeaky bum time, as Sir Alex Ferguson once called it. The boys came out, and I thought Falkirk were really good when they started the second half. And eventually, after knocking the door for a while, they scored their goal. Ball comes over the top, and Wilson, with a terrific finish for Falkirk into the top corner of the net. From a Celtic point of view, if I'm being overly critical, maybe I'm being, maybe this is merited, but I feel Kieran Tierney should have done better. He let Wilson get away from him, sleeping a wee bit at the back, KT, and then the boy sticks it away brilliantly. But, I mean, Kieran Tierney was maybe a wee bit leggy at that point. That's what time he usually comes off it, and he did come off a few minutes later. But I mean, after that, Falkirk knocked on the door. I thought Wilson was terrific. He really caught the eye. He was creating opportunities. He had a left-footed shot that Sinisalo gets down to. There was balls coming out of the box, and you're, oh no, what's going to happen here? Thankfully, they never really came to anything for Falkirk. But Celtic did well to grind out the result. The ball comes in, Tinecti comes on, ball comes in, he plays it low and hard across the box. It misses all the Falkirk players, and Daizen Maeda's there to stick it away at the back post. I mean, that is the difference with Maeda now. He'll be there, he'll score these vital goals at the moments that we need him. When he's not really been doing that this season, and I'm sure even he would admit that. Now, whether Martin O'Neill sat guys like Daizen Maeda down and said, right, I know that you want to move, I know that you want to go and play at a higher level or whatever it is, but you're going to have to earn that because you've not done that this season. Because Maeda looks as if he's had a wee bit of a rocket up his arse, as we call it here. And, last couple of games he's been terrific. Hopefully he can kick on now. I'm sure he'll be in the Japanese squad for the World Cup. It's already established, I'm sure. But, let's go and win a title now. Martin O'Neill should say to him, you've got 5 games left here to go and win a title, to leave yourself at Celtic, and you'll be a legend. You know what I mean? You will be known as a Celtic legend. You go and you win another trophy. You go and win a double for Celtic, and you can leave in an absolute high. And that goes for all the players. If Arnie Engels is going to move on, there's a lot of talk about Arnie Engels going to Lazio. Nottingham Forest made a big bid for him at the end of the last transfer window that get turned down by Celtic. So clearly there is some suitors out there for Arnie Engels. And I think it's pretty obvious that he will move on, because he's got a lot of admirers out there at a high level. And Arnie Engels no doubt wants to go and play at a higher level, which is absolutely fine. You know what I mean? As long as he performs well for these next 4 games for Celtic, I'll be more than happy for Arnie Engels to move on and go and better his career. But right at this moment, he has to perform for Celtic, and he's done well since he's come back in the team. We've got a vital match this weekend against Falkirk. Against Hibernian. Played Falkirk there. Against Hibernian this Sunday, which is no gimme. You know what I mean? It's going to be a hard game at Easter Road. I know they came off of a bad result yesterday against their big rivals Hearts, but they will be up for it on Sunday. You know what I mean? They will want to, cause an upset in this title running, even if it does help their rivals. I'm sure everybody wants to play a part this season. Rangers lost yesterday to Motherwell. They lost 3-2. Longolo scored in the last minute, and that puts them. Hopefully they'll be out the title race now, which I don't believe they are. I think if they go and beat Hearts next Monday, they'll be right back in the title race. But anyway, sticking to Celtic, I've seen some good things, I've seen some bad things in that performance on Saturday. I think that we have to improve. If we're going to beat Motherwell, if we're going to beat Hibs, if we're going to beat Rangers, and if we're going to beat Hearts, we are going to have to perform better, because if we play at that level, I believe that those teams will take points off us. I really do. Like I say, we were a wee minute or 2 away from Falkirk possibly equalising. We were maybe a wee mistake away from that happening, which cannot happen in this title race. There is no margin for error, none whatsoever, when it comes to this title running. Rangers were the first to slip yesterday, like I say, but it's not over by a long chalk. It's not over until the last minute of the season is over. I don't believe anyway. I still believe there will be a title race on the last day of the season. Who that's between, God only knows. But I mean, the performance was okay on Saturday against a decent enough Falkirk team. It was a good test. Ralston played okay again. I thought he was man of the match last week against St Mirren, as I said. He had an alright game again. He nearly scored again. He had a right-footed shot put by the post by the goalkeeper. I thought he did okay, and like I say, Trusty did well. Benjamin Negrin, I thought did a really, really good game without scoring a goal, and that's what a lot of people have been critical of Negrin this season for how he's performed outside of the goals, which is mental, I know, but that's how we look at it. We've got to look at the overall all-round performance of guys, and Negrin hasn't been the best consistently, as in playing the game, throughout the game and stuff like that. He's been fantastic scoring goals. He's been fantastic creating it, creating positions for people in that, but his all-round game hasn't been great. But I thought he played really, really well on Saturday. But there was still bits of the game that we need to really need to improve on. Martin O'Neill just knows how to get things over the line. He just knows how to win these matches, knows how to get things done. And I'm really hoping over these next few weeks that Martin O'Neill can have the Martin O'Neill effect. He looks calm on the side of the park, even when Falkirk scored. He looked okay. He was just sipping his water and he was just kind of relaxing, because I think Martin O'Neill knows he's been in the game long enough. He knows the game long enough to know that nothing's done yet. Even if Celtic were to draw on Saturday, still know at the title race. As for, like I say, Hearts had a really good result yesterday. Hibs went down to 9 men, and after 2 red cards, which were red cards, 100% they were red cards. And then, Hearts go and grind out the result and stuff. But I really feel it's time now that Celtic and Martin, for these next 4 games, he's got to know his best team. He's got to. And I believe that's Tinekti, Maeda and Yang. I really do believe that. I believe that's the best front three. However, if Inacho's fit, which clearly isn't happening, it's just not happening for whatever reason, the boy just can't get fit to start games. He's a good player to come off, he's a good player to come on the park, sorry. And that's the thing, Celtic have got options. You've got Iheanacho on the bench. You've got Svian Chara on the bench, who's not performed well at all at Celtic and stuff, but like I said, and I've done a few clips of this week, and I've gotten quite a lot of pelters for this, and that is, I firmly believe Celtic have got a manager in place. I believe that it's already done, it's already dusted, it's already making decisions at Celtic. Now, who that man is, I don't know. I have guessed at Robbie Keane. Just try to connect the dots, as I said, trying to look at what's been happening, what people have been saying over the last few weeks. The bookies have got Robbie Keane as favourite. Johnny Hayes and Scott Brown went over for a apparent FIFA thing. Might be true, but it's a bit coincidental. They're going to Ferencváros Grunt to meet Robbie Keane. Now, I'm not saying that Celtic have sent Scott Brown and Johnny Hayes over, but these guys are pals. They know how things work, and that might be going over to discuss. Well, while we're over here, by the way, one of the ones while we're over here, how do you fancy? Would you think to make a Celtic now? What are you thinking at? Trying to. Maybe it sounds a bit far fetched, but these things happen in football. We all know it. These things happen. So I'm hoping that Celtic have their man. I believe they have their man. You do not, surely to God, you do not sign 3 players. You don't give them contract extensions without a manager, especially 4-year contract extensions with an option to buy. You don't do that without a manager. And it's not as if we're talking about Ronaldinho here. We're talking about Liam Scales. You know what I mean? Surely to God, you do not give Liam Scales a 4-year contract with an option to buy unless he's a manager. It's no fucking Wayne Rooney. It's no Zinedine Zidane where you just go, well, whoever's the next manager is going to love Zinedine Zidane. It's not as if you're going to go, well, whoever the next manager is going to love fucking Liam Scales at centre-half. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make any sense doing that unless you've got a manager's approval to start with. Think about it logically. Think about that logically. Giving Liam Scales a 4.5-year contract without a manager. Now, if that's the case, fucking what is going on, man? What is actually going on? Why are you giving anybody, particularly, Liam Scales has got more than enough critics at Celtic and the Celtic fan base. There's loads of fans who don't think Liam Scales is good enough for Celtic, and yet you're giving him a 4-year contract and you've not got a manager. Make it make sense. Surely there's a manager in place going, Right, okay, I'm not there the now, but I'm okay with Liam Scales staying there for 4 years. Definitely. I'm okay with James Forrest signing a contract extension, and I'm okay with Luke McCowan. Luke McCowan's another one. The Celtic fan base are not happy with Luke McCowan. There's some fans that are, think Luke McCowan's an okay player. I think he's alright. I don't think he's anything special. I don't think he's Celtic class. But the majority of Celtic fans don't think Luke McCowan is Celtic class, yet they've gave him another contract extension with an option to extend that. You don't do that without a manager. You just don't. Anybody logical, any club run logically doesn't do that. So I'm hoping and praying that the Celtic board and Dermot Desmond and all these other guys that are making decisions, I am praying and hoping that they've done this already, that they've got a manager in there already. Otherwise, it is absolutely fucking baffling. Absolutely baffling. So, anyway, that's my opinion. Like I say, I'm just very, very happy we got the 3 points on Saturday. It's all about the 3 points now. Obviously, we will still continue to do these reviews and the previews to the games and all that. Performances are vital, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we are constantly getting 3 points. And this Sunday at Easter Road is going to be really tough. We'll be doing a preview show of that at the end of the week. Look out for that one on here. But, every single game now is must win. Must win. People are, like I said earlier, people are going on about Hearts and Rangers being must win. Rangers must beat Hearts. Celtic must beat Hibs. Celtic must beat Hibs. Because if Celtic lose to Hibs, or drop any points, even if they draw to Hibs, and then Hearts go and beat Rangers, league's done. If Celtic lose on Sunday, and Hearts win on Monday, the league's over. Hearts have won the league. 100%. There'll be 3 games left, and Hearts will be 6 points clear of Celtic. And that's it, done and dusted. There's no way that's getting caught. Right? So Celtic must win on Sunday. Must win. Even Hearts could probably get away with no winning on Monday. But Rangers must win. Rangers must win on Monday. Celtic and Rangers must win this weekend for them to be in the title race. If they don't, they're out. If they don't, they're out. In my opinion. What could happen is Celtic could lose against Hibs and Rangers beat Hearts, which wouldn't be the worst scenario for Celtic. They would still be in with a fight, and it would cause even more carnage at the top of that table. But I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that Celtic can beat Hibs, which is the most important thing. Even Monday will take care of itself. We just need to look after ourselves. We need to win that game at Easter Road on Sunday. And Hibs will be smarting from losing to their big rivals like that. Especially when Hibs started the game really, really well. And they scored an early goal. Martin Boyle done it. And Hibs looked all over them. And they must have thought, we're going to go and win 2-3-0 here. And they got their men sent off, quite rightly so. So Hibs will be up for it on Sunday. Don't make no mistake about that. Hibs will be up for that on Sunday. They will only be wanting to just lie down to Celtic. So Celtic win the game on Sunday. That's all that really matters. And then the ideal scenario for us is a draw on Monday. Going into the last 3 games, that would be ideal. But let's see what's going to happen, man. Like I say, I've done my review of the game. Good in patches, not so good in other patches. Must improve Celtic. They must do better in certain parts of the match. But I believe we will. Martin O'Neill's got another week now to work with the players and, on the training pitch, try and get the best out of them, try and get them to work for each other and get a bit of confidence up with these last 4 games to go. And I always feel it's really, really good at this point, but there's no midweek games at this point. It's constantly just week to week, which gives Martin O'Neill and gives the Celtic coaching team the whole week to work with the players, to get the best out of them, to see who he thinks is performing and who he thinks can do a job every weekend. And obviously I'm really hoping that Celtic take a big boost for Rangers losing yesterday. So time will tell, guys. myself and Corey will be back on the Celtic Corner this week. Like I say, previewing the big vital game against Hibs this Sunday at Easter Road. So if you've not done it yet, please subscribe to the channel and all that other jazz, and we'll see you soon. Hail, hail.